a couple of years now. And I previously worked at within the AI space as well, which was super fun. And then pivoted to Web3 and super excited about just how Moon is solidifying. Honestly, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is extremely dope. In your stint in the AI universe, I know you work. I know you can't really talk about your work without doxing yourself, but I'm wondering if you can kind of explain like what your focus was on, and how some of that work has applied to your work on Moon.
So back in the day, it was this was like 2018. Oh, actually no, I have the company on my Twitter, so it's fine. Uh, I previously worked at Splash, which was an AI music startup a few years ago. This was like very, or not like very early days, but this was during like the first AI boom, where like before diffusions and before just all of the recent major innovations. And we were primarily focusing on empowering creators to be able to like make music creation and publishing much more accessible. And within that, there was a lot of just like different responsibilities, and due to the VC firms, they were also pushing towards crypto, but that project got canned as well. So there's been a lot of just like background in just like working with AI and just like very familiar within the ecosystem of AI and the fast moving pace of it as well. But yeah.
Yeah, dope.
And also like DevOps and GPU training pipelines and in dealing with the nightmare that is Python and CUDA, which is uh still just like an absolutely awful experience. The errors are like the most useless thing on this planet, honestly. Uh, you get a big stack trace and you're just like, okay, this does not help me. Uh, but yeah, no, it's yeah,
Yeah, nice.
awful,
I
awful.
guess the Python developer experience is always surprising us in how bad it is all the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, so Moon is built on Golang. I guess maybe I don't know what's useful to you guys. Should we describe the Moon tech stack or the vision or whatever? I guess
So,
maybe.
so I have somewhat of a rough, like, sort of
Oh yeah, we need to
path that
hand it off to you because
we could
otherwise we're going
follow.
to talk about like Kubernetes and
Yeah.
our edge
I'll keep you
computing and
guys honest
whatnot.
as the total layman. I'm representing the audience here because I like one thing I like when when I see you guys talking about Moon or when I was sort of first getting introduced to it, um like the more I hear about it, the less I feel I understand its capabilities. And I feel like a lot of people in the audience or in the community think of it as a wallet. It's like, okay, you built a wallet and that's basically all that happens. And I know now that that's I the more I know, the more I don't know that I know. The classic sort of paradox, if that's the right word. But the more I hear about it, the more I'm like, oh, this is way more than a wallet. It's infrastructure.
Yeah.
Obviously, people still are kind of in the dark about. So I mean, there's a lot of components. So there's Moon authentication, there's Moon merchant, there's Moon AI, there's Moon data, all these different components, and then you can put them all together in the wallet, quote, with just two lines of code, which I still don't understand how that works. But maybe you want to talk about, like, go through the different components, and then you can kind of bring it all together in kind of a package that is like, okay, all these can fit together in a wallet or in, X, Y, and Z, as a nice complete package. So, like, do you want? I don't know. Do you want to walk through, like, some of the different pieces of it? Is that helpful?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
get too technical, then I'll stop you and bring you back down to the level.
So yeah, no, that sounds really good. So at the core of Moon, Moon is infrastructure for Web3. And as Charles had mentioned, there's like multiple different components: Moon Auth, Moon Wallet, Moon Merchants, and hope in the future also Moon Data as well. Moon Auth is the authentication component, which includes like e- for every authentication method, I think that is like possible. That includes like Google and all of the social logins, WebAuthn, which is like passwordless authentication as well, and even sign in with Ethereum, which is you just log in with your like regular Web3 wallet as well. Moon Wallet is the cloud hardware wallet infrastructure. We support pretty much every chain, uh, except for Cosmos at this point, but that includes like Bitcoin and all EVM chains as well, so like Ethereum and Optimism.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and maybe to boil that down even further, essentially, Moon is wallet infrastructure for AI agents and the people that use them. Being, with Moon, you use Moon as a developer. Not only are you instantly accessing the world of AI, all you need to do is input the model you want to use, and you can give it not only power to read the blockchain, not only the power to create transactions and execute transactions, um, but also the power to do anything else. And it's
Mhm.
really, it's not like an AI assistant. It's really like a really deep integrated AI augmentation, which it can be an assistant, it can be a transaction builder, it can be a trading bot, it can be whatever you want. And we are infrastructure that's designed for applications, including other wallets, to just really quickly have high security, highly reliable, and highly functional features. And it's all wrapped up in a really beautiful SDK that comes in how many languages? What?
Uh, every major language. So like TypeScript,
Everyone.
Golang, Java. Yeah. Pretty much like every single language that isn't like super niche.
German,
So we.
French, English. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, pretty much. We even have packages for Unreal Engine and Unity, but also like Golang and Dart or like Flutter. So we're just trying to like support as many like language ecosystems as like possible. Uh, because
Yeah.
it's super important for like developer flexibility. But the TypeScript or like JavaScript packages are the most like not so much mature, but they're the most they have the biggest scope because just due to the nature of the wider ecosystems that we want to support, like Rainbow Kit and Ethers as well.
Yeah, and I guess something that is really cool about Moon is, um, there are these major issues plaguing blockchain and plaguing AI. Being AI is pretty unreliable, and blockchain is really hard to use. And a nice thing about Moon is the way we built it is that we are solving both of those problems. Being probabilistic AI models, we can kind of infuse with the determinism of blockchain, meaning, you can execute some action or transaction using AI and verify its correctness using blockchain. And right now, that's like, okay, great. We can do the simple, rudimentary Web3 stuff that we're doing today. But longer term, we're going to see more and more functionality make its way on chain. We're going to see things like PayPal and Shopify endpoints on chain. The Circle API is already on chain, and we can create AI agents designed to interact with all of these and kind of infuse again the blockchain security with some of this agency. And on the other end, blockchain kind of really sucks to use. I mean, to us,
Mhm.
it's like pretty straightforward and pretty easy. But even today, like you can create with Moon a way to issue a voice command to an AI agent, have it pick it up and execute a transaction for you, which is
Jesus
really
Christ.
exciting. Yeah, we use Whisper for that, and yeah, I'll say like the nice thing about Moon, I know we've been talking about it a long time, and we've been building it a long time. And Elliot, I don't want to toot his horn, but he's a 10x engineer that has been just grinding, building Moon for a couple of years now, and we're now like in a really good spot where we're just coming into the market. We have a huge head start on anybody that might ever want to do something remotely similar. We've got
Mm.
a huge moat, and I don't want to like. I don't think it's a good time to start like announcing who we're working with and our clients and whatnot. But we've got a lot of really cool projects that are using Moon. Some public that you can find on our Twitter, and others not yet disclosed. Many more, and I think probably like every month there's just more and more people using Moon on their own, and also more high profile projects. So I will say something that's cool is probably in the next 3 to 6 months, Moon will be the absolute biggest Web3 project in multiple verticals. And that's like the wallet as a service vertical being an API that creates hardware grade wallets on demand. There are some companies that do this. Once a few of these partnerships pan out, will be one of the biggest. And on the other end, you have like these AI wallets or these AI integrated things, Web3 kind of gateways. We kind of think about it in the same way we think about Chainlink or an Oracle company. Being Chainlink's goal is to open up a gateway between traditional data and the blockchain, whereas Moon is kind of the gateway between AI and the blockchain.
Mm.
And we're really honestly blessed to be in this position with this technology. So yeah, maybe moving on. If you want to, Elliot, you have anything else to say, or Charles, you want to move on to the next
Yeah,
question?
no, honestly, like Moon is in like such an incredible position, just like product market fit wise and just like tooling that's been built out and like maturity. Like there's still like endless amounts of work left to do to like and like endless improvements, but it's just like yeah, no, honestly, it's uh the gateway to not only Web3 but also gateway for AI into Web3, which unlocks like endless possibilities as well. Even like AI agents paying each other autonomously for
Yeah.
work, which is
Yeah.
like
So as a Moon client, there's some group of people um who want to integrate Moon into their stuff. They say, hello, Web3 app where we are building some sort of project in Web3. Um, we want using the SDK, they can basically tailor. We want our users to be able to sign up this way. We want them to be able to do this with, a single command. We want them to be able to do this and this. And you can kind of like put together like a tailored product for them that they can integrate into their stuff, and then their users can use their product in a really like in the way that they want in a really easy way. Is that along the lines of how
It's
that
actually
and
way simpler
also
than that.
Yeah,
no, go
yeah.
It's like
ahead.
what you're talking about, like the configurability, like Homie's already building an app. You know what I'm saying? And really, what Moon does is, when you think of what's the perfect Web3 user experience, you try to program that yourself, it'll take you years. You program that with Moon, and it'll take you days. And that's really kind of, I mean, that's the point of infrastructure. Like we're building the
Mm,
scaffolding that makes it so like this stuff that should be a given, being, okay, people can sign in with fingerprint on my app and create a wallet using MFA or passkey or whatever, anything they want. They can create a wallet, they can onboard, and then they can access the data of the blockchain. They can execute actions with an AI agent, which will become increasingly how people interact with the web. It's already like, you think about, how are people interacting with their phones in China, for example, or in India, or what is the majority of the world doing? They're talking into them. They're issuing commands to Google or to Siri, and Moon essentially, like if you think about a product like or a blockchain like Fetch.ai, or if you think about one of these big time like agency platforms, Moon basically turns any blockchain you want into like an agent friendly platform, and that's really the point. And we see like one of our partners is managing more agents than any company in the world right now, and we're going to be creating economies on chain. We're going to be allowing people to build complex transactions and protect their transactions on chain. So yeah, it is like really open ended, to be honest. And the thing is, again, this is like you know, we sat down. We're like, okay, we're way better at B2B than we are at anything else. Of course, on the Oath end, especially, we're working super hard to get better at marketing, better at narrative, better at branding, which you guys will see the fruits of here soon. But with Moon, it's just been like, we've got this book of business. How do we solve everybody's problems all at once? And it's really just a matter of getting developers understanding that they already know how to use Moon,
mm.
because we re-implemented like all of the popular libraries, like
Right.
Ethos.js, WAGMI,
Y-
VM.
Yeah,
So
we've tried to make it the experience as like familiar and just like accessible as possible, and like just like having the Ethos package alone, it just allows like everyone who's like ever used Ethers who just like plug and play into Moon as well, which is incredible.
yeah, and it's one of those things where like once you get it, it's so easy. And at first you're like, what is this? Moon AI? What the fuck is this? Like a buzzword scam? Um, and then you start reading the interface and you're like, wow, this kind of looks familiar. And then you start programming with it and you're like, wow, this is really easy. And then suddenly, one of our taglines is we take you 2 years ahead of the industry or 2 years ahead of your competitors with 2 lines of code. And it really is that simple. It's like stuff that people talk about and dream about, we just give to you out of the box, which is cool. Samson, what are some
Hmm.
existing examples of Moon
Sam,
integrations? Oh, go
I
ahead,
was going to
Josh.
ask about Skillful since the space yesterday kind of. I was going to ask about Skillful and how we could talk about like a example of how they're using it and how they're benefiting from Moon. And Jesse, I see your question also. I'm not forgetting about you. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, no, that was a good
specific
question.
examples that are public.
Yeah. Do you want me to take this one, Elliot, or
Uh, yeah, no, it's probably better if you
okay.
you take this one.
Sure, yeah. So Skillful is someone that I guess maybe I'll lightly touch on the fact that the Scale blockchain, SKALE, we're partnered with them to essentially make building on their network way easier because they have this system of gas-free. It's like a gas-free system wherein you need to generate gas client side, which is like hard and annoying, but we just take care of that for developers. Out of the box when they use Moon. So Skillful is building there, and they are creating agents with a focus on having really well curated data sets. And they're helping people own their data. They're helping people monetize their data. And the agents that they build are going to be accessing blockchain data, accessing stuff on the blockchain and interacting with the blockchain with Moon. And users are also going to be using Moon to sign in. So essentially, a user can sign in with Google and then 2FA with their fingerprint thanks to Moon. And they're able to get to market way faster. And the funny thing is, and what people will see very quickly, is a project like Skillful. We have like really big partners that are like slow to market. We're hand holding them and building features for them and whatnot. But something like Skillful, where it's just like a super lightweight project, going to market fast, trying to be competitive. The thing is, by using Moon, like they're going to rush way, way, way beyond their competitors super duper quickly, which is going to be really funny to see because instantly people are going to have an amazing experience using it. They're going to be able to interact with it just as they would like a Web 2 application. So yeah, it's a really good case study, and gaming also is a super super huge target of ours. We're working with, frankly, some of the biggest games and some of the biggest gaming studios / VCs in the space right now. And let me see if I can. I have like a little diagram that's really ugly that I should probably make prettier. But I use it to describe why Moon rocks for gaming. And it's like I always use RuneScape because that's like the only video game I played. But essentially, like imagine if you talk to a shopkeeper, and the shopkeeper is going to give you an item, and that item is an NFT, and you're trading in gold for it. You can perform that transaction totally in the background and also on chain. And then beyond that, so okay, now you've performed that transaction, you've moved the NFT from one wallet to another, you've moved the GP from one wallet to another, you've gained the insane security of the blockchain, you've gained all of the economic controls and parameters of the blockchain, and you've done it in a way that isn't intruding on the user experience, and that's really really important to us. So I'll go ahead and I'll share my screen here. Just let me see, Moon Gaming. All right. Let me see if there's anything that I shouldn't be sharing. Okay, there's not.
Yeah, no, like the user experience has been like such for Web3 has been like such a like lacking feature. I I I like to use the example of just if you try to like introduce someone into Web3 space, it's an entire like nightmare process, even to just buy like an NFT as well. But Moon it just enables new levels of UX experiences that users are just like very familiar and
Yeah,
intuitive as well.
totally. And I'll kind
Moon
of
brand exchange when.
yeah,
This is
apologies for
awesome.
the graphic. Well, let me actually carry on the RuneScape example, because not only have you created like basically an ERC 1155 and ERC 20 transfer in a way that's totally analogous with the existing RuneScape user experience that won't be intrusive to it at all, but you take that a step further and, let's say you're using DN 404. So the new that new thing, the new token standard that's not a token standard but is a token standard. So you
Easy
take
enough.
DN404, yeah,
Yeah.
and you
Sorry.
use
Sorry.
that to create items, and then you have the in-game currency, which on Uniswap you can pair with those DN404 items, and maybe you have a DN404 per item or whatever. And now what you've essentially done is using Uniswap v2, you've created a super robust means of price discovery, a super easy way to transfer value in items, using a monetary system on chain that would operate better than the Grand Exchange, being, like, I would say, a masterpiece of gaming economics. You've now done it with DeFi. And what we're really drilling in on is, we have this DeFi experience on one hand, and we have Moon on the other hand. And unfortunately, we're not gaming developers. Maybe eventually we will be, but what we can do is we can partner with game studios and we can say, hey, you're a game developer. Game development, the reason we're not good at game development is the same reason you're not good at Web3 development. We can take care of all of that for you out of the box and give you an experience that is unparalleled in the Web3 space. So, right now, I'll walk you through this graphic that I'm streaming here. Again, forgive it. This is not meant for human consumption, but you have the current paradigm here, which is you have a game and it's fun. Okay, very dope paradigm. I love to play the game. I wish I could do it more. Great. Where Web3 gaming comes in is they're like, okay, how do we shoehorn Web3 into this so that we can, raise at a greater multiple and give our VCs exit liquidity? And the end result of that is you have these two blobs. You have the game, which could be fun. Who knows? I think making a fun game is something that, has eluded Web3 gaming companies historically, but it takes a long time. So we'll probably see more and more fun games over the coming years. And then you have the blockchain element, which is like, hey, here's an NFT project, that we use to maybe raise some money or make some money or whatever. And they're separate. It's like, okay, you interact with this NFT, you buy this NFT. You can load it into the game. And if you want to trade the NFT or do something with the NFT, you do it over here in the blockchain world, maybe on OpenSea, maybe on their own website. And if you want to interact with the game or interact with the product, you do it in this world. And so what you've done is you've created two platforms instead of one. So like just constantly ping-ponging people out of your user experience. You've raised the onboarding cost because now you've got to get a user not only to buy your freaking assets, but you've got to get them like to be willing to deal with this worse user experience. It's not immersive. You're pulling the user out of the experience every time they want to interact with the economy. And the security stinks because you're not good at Web3 development, one. And two, the game isn't really benefiting from the blockchain at all. And then, of course, you're exposing your users to phishing every time you tweet. All of your dependencies, all of your service providers are charging you out the ass because you're now a Web3 company and you've got VC money in the bank, and flexibility is very low, which stinks. This is kind of where we're at, and this is why, especially us in the DeFi world, we always complain about gaming because why would you game when you can just trade shitcoins? That's the ultimate gaming experience. But here we are with Moon, and you can see, look at this guy's smile compared to this guy's smile. I mean, that right there, I think is good tech. But basically, what we've done is imagine, the access point to the blockchain is now an element within your game. Just as you would interact with Unity, you can interact with Moon's Unity package. And this is no longer something that the user needs to care about. It's just a database. It's a blockchain. It's a high security database that can give you economic guarantees. And if you've ever played World of Warcraft, if you've ever played RuneScape, if you have autism, you know how fun it is when there are economic guarantees in games. So
Yeah, no,
I mean,
Even like CS, there's a huge like the Steam marketplace for like Counter-Strike skins is insanity.
Dude,
That
and you were in that business, weren't you, Elliot?
uh I helped out a bit with
Okay, we probably don't
some
want to talk
contract
about that.
work. Yeah, no, but it's like actual insanity. Like uh
Yeah. And really the problem, like Web3 will, as much as we want to fund Web3 gaming, there is so much, like if you think there's money floating around DeFi, dude, Web3 gaming is the most invested in thing next to infrastructure. Maybe there's stats out there that can validate that, or maybe I'm just talking out my ass. But it is like highly invested in, and we will have fun Web3 games, and people will learn how to make fun Web3 games. And with Moon, it's like we
Yeah.
tell a gaming company use Moon, and suddenly you're way ahead of all your competition. You don't ever have to worry about Web3 programming again because you just need to use our API, and your users are more immersed. You have essentially integrated payments in the platform, so you do away with a ton of service providers. You own the entire stack, and not only that, but we can also inject AI into the business. So if you train a little model to control in-game characters, NPCs, whatever, then boom, you can inject it right away with Moon and create these economies and even like have agents trading and helping kind of build excitement into your in-game economy. And it is really like a must-have, I would say. And there's no one else doing this. At least there's no one else doing it with the depth that we are. And we've got some big gaming partners, and hopefully we'll have more and more big gaming partners. And yeah, I guess I'll stop streaming my ugly Lucid chart here. But yeah, and the thing is, like, we can do that for consumer apps. We can do that for DeFi. DeFi is a little further out because we want like more and more and more audits. If we're going to be handling DeFi transactions, we're working on like a really robust, intense system that essentially lets users validate state after the transaction is executed. Because you don't necessarily want AI building a transaction for you right now, because it'll probably like rug you. But
yeah, no, LLMs have like a big tendency to just like make shit up. So it's uh
Yeah, if you mess with the
Yeah.
Moon GPT, like if you go have GPT Premium and you head to the GPT store, you can play around with Moon. You can make wallets. You can make 100 wallets. You can do whatever you want there. But you can also try to get it to do some crazy stuff, but you'll have to be hyper specific until we build either models for it or build rails for it. We build like
Airdrop
transaction
farmers'
libraries.
wet dream.
I mean,
yeah,
honestly, we've thought about building an airdrop farmer bot, and the thing is, we're like right now, how we build is we get a big client, we say, okay, we can do what you need us to do. You tell us the features you want, and we'll build them, and that's kind of the direction we're heading right now.
Yeah, I want to go back to Jesse's question about security, because it, like you just mentioned, and I was going to follow up with like stopping us from, why don't we just give all Oath app users, Moon capabilities, or like integrate that into like DeFi apps and Oath
Yeah,
apps, and I feel like you kind of answered that question.
yeah.
But speaking of
We
security and speaking of audits, I don't know if you guys want to touch on that at all.
Sure. I'll
I don't
maybe
even know
kick it
how to
off.
ask the question because what are the security concerns?
I mean, there are a lot. I
oh
would
yeah,
say,
there's
like,
a
you
lot.
know, the attack surface is wide. It's securing a system like this is complex, but it's something that obviously we take seriously, and we're very lucky that we started off as a DeFi company obsessed with security because it's made at least management much easier. But I guess to start off, maybe talking about our HMPC architecture, and eventually, I say eventually, like with the research and the white papers all the time, but it's like we create cool innovations and then we never talk about them because we're too busy.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll have enough money to write research papers. But um, essentially, with our HMPC technology, the core is a cloud-based HSM module, which is essentially a big, huge ledger in the cloud that you can interact with. And the thing is, it's cloud-based, so it is to a certain extent inherently connected. It is not necessarily ice cold storage. Um, so that's kind of the root, and everything you think about after that. So we know that inherently this is as secure as a database can be. This is bank grade security. How do we make it so that we can imitate the security profile of self custody as closely as humanly possible? So starting with that hardware security, which solves all the issues that Privy has, it solves all the annoying issues that a lot of the embedded wallets have right now in terms of local key extraction and other weirdness. But what if someone hijacks your session? Or what if someone gets access to your computer and hits you in the head with a rock? Maybe Elliot, you can speak to some of our security efforts on that front, wherein we can ensure that by the time this hardware grade security makes it to the end user, um, it is as close to the original like ledger type or hardware security as possible.
Yeah, so as Justin has like kind of touched on, Moon is hardware based, a cloud based hardware like wallets. And there's a bunch of security considerations, both in terms of the like HSM solves like pretty much all of the core problems because it's literally uh what like the entire like world uses to secure global like financial infrastructure. So that's been a huge advantage, and also just like reducing scope as much as possible in terms of what actually happens within like the hardware security modules and how they're accessed as well. And there's also the Web 2 security side. Such as session hijacking and like even just like scope isolation. So as a part of the efforts, sessions are really short-lived, uh, because yeah, no, we don't want sessions to be hijacked. But there's also the convenience consideration. Like if you're logged out every like 5 minutes or something, that's just like everyone in the world will like despise that. Uh, uh, so a part of like an additional security layer as well on top of that will be scope or like isolating what wallets each session can access, and so like with like you log into like a website and you basically just only wanted to access a specific wallet, uh, then you will be able to do that. And also on top of that, just like configurable rules per wallet as well. So like if you want just like a hot degen wallet that you don't really care about, you can do that without like any additional security rules. Or if you want to get prompted for multi-factor authentication or even like fingerprint authentication as well per wallet, that's also or that will also be possible as well, because everything is just like hyper modular and just like very easy to just kind of plug and play things into. And as for key storage and key isolation, or like transaction building and signing. That's also like an entirely like big security consideration, like additional like encryption and even avoiding like memory hijacking as well. But we built out like a very secure enclave to just like isolate things as much as possible, and also even in like how different chains are handled. So like Bitcoin and EVM, they're like isolated from each other, both memory and like program wise as well, because and also like further permission wise as well, because we just want to like isolate and reduce vector of attacks, and a part of the HSM as well. It gives us institutional grade access, or like institutional features such as like really strong encryption, or like not even really strong encryption, but like yeah, no, it just provides like a trusted compute uh enclave for
Yeah.
Moon.
Yeah, maybe
Which,
the open close feature of the vault. Are we using that much, Elliot?
yeah. So as a part of this, is the key unseal, or like so when a user like makes a sign-in request, uh things get authentication is checked. The selected wallet is temporarily decrypted in memory. We make sure to set up the things to also purge that memory access once or purge that memory space after that uh, transaction has been signed, and with the key unseal sealing feature as well. That just means things are very like ephemeral, so it's just a very short period of time when the key is actually like stored within the memory space, and it's and then it immediately gets sealed. So there's pretty much no like physical or like attack vector to like grab it, because also the HSM uh, provides a lot of additional security features as well, just for like secure key storage and generation, and even memory space considerations as well. Uh,
Yeah.
Yes,
Long
I
story
totally
short,
understood all of that.
basically, we've set up the design to be basically as to be like everything is hypermodular, but also like isolated from each other type of thing, and
Mm.
a lot of very common attack vectors, they simply like aren't possible as well, because like if you decrypt something, it has to be stored within your like system's memory for a temporary period of time, and there's all sorts of like memory hijacking attack vectors just in general, because if you have a malicious program or malicious actor that gains access to the system, uh, they can just like steal that memory space as well, because it's that's what they're looking for, type of thing.
yeah.
But utilizing HSM and other like institutional grade security features, yeah, we've kind of just like reduced like progressively, or like not even, we've just like reduced the scope for attack vectors as much as possible.
Yeah, it's kind of like we started with HSM. Like we did a lot of research. We looked at HSM, we looked at MPC, we looked at some of the other key management standards. HSM jumped out to us as clearly the best option. The issue was HSM is mostly used for like banking. It's used for traditional finance, and you know, traditional finance doesn't really make its way to a web app in the way that a blockchain wallet would, in a way that a self-custody solution would. So in creating kind of the HMPC system, it was like, okay, we start with the absolute best cloud-based security that we can. And how do we build the absolute most secure pipeline so that we can get that signing power to the user in the app in the same way that they would normally. And like a centralized exchange or a stockbroker or whatever, it's like you're submitting the order and their admin controls are executing the order. You know, you don't own the assets. And that was something with Moon. We were like, okay, you know, we don't want MPC weirdness where, you know, key extraction, you know, is not only feasible but not that hard. So we kind of, you know, took the really hard route, and I think that's kind of another big sort of moat that we have is, you know, now we have been able to bring, like, you can be your own bank. You know, you have
Yeah.
the power of the blockchain, but it's all housed, it's all cloud based, so the UX is 1,000 times better. And you are essentially you are the institution, you're the bank. So yeah, it's just it's been I mean, it's been a pain in the ass building this, but it's been audited, it's been pen tested. We want to get bigger name audits. We want to get like some really high profile ones, especially when we start thinking about DeFi. Um,
Mm.
and then yeah,
Yeah.
I
No.
think like eventually all this research and all this development will make its way into papers for people to read and review. For now, it's just alpha. Um, but yeah, I think with the new bull market, like I'll tell you, our organization, like, you know, when we launched Oath, for example, we in retrospect, had no clue what we were doing. You know, in terms of creating like a really good environment for growth. But now, like, quite frankly, we've gotten pretty good at it, at least in theory. So, you know, this bull market, we're really going to entrench ourselves as a mainstay of the industry, whether you guys like it or not. And yeah, Moon, I think, is going to power more and more Web3 apps every year. And any
Mm.
app that doesn't use Moon is just going to fail to those that do. And that's I think where we're at technologically speaking.
Yeah, I absolutely agree because like everyone talks about just like onboarding like the next billion like Web3 users, like that's like a tagline of like a billion fucking startups. But just like Moon just like gives like anyone like insane security and also like new UX like experiences that like users are just like completely familiar with, and due to that a lot of just like complexity of Web3 can be like abstracted away, and also just give them like custodial smart wallets generated from APIs, which is like really like massive, because Web3 just absolutely like sucks, both to like the like UX and even like development experience as well.
Dude,
It's a hot fucking mess.
if users think they have a problem, and here's another, this
Yeah.
is like the secret of Moon. It's like in 2021, all of the big names in infrastructure, you think Rainbow Kit, you know, similar sort of like developer tools, whatever, they all raced to market to collect big VC checks, which makes sense. You know, that it was a business decision on their part, but now they have live products that are being depended on with shoddy architectures. You know, and the thing is, you can't really just go back and re-engineer the whole system, because to do that, you would need to essentially rug all of your existing clients, or you would need to have like a V1 and V2, and your
Mm.
business will just kind of explode. If you read like the Pragmatic Programmer, you look at the Tiger Team problem. It's literally just a race between the legacy software and the new version. And we decided early on with Moon that we were going to take our time and solve all these developer experience issues. So now it's like, we are so many leagues ahead of every competitor in terms of DevX. And in terms of users and in terms of the size of applications, like the app layer is so underinvested in that, you know, in when the app layer starts to matter, like all of the early players, all the people who submitted their bid early are loaded with technical debt. Like it's not going to make a difference because the existing Web3 market is just a tiny drop in the bucket. And Moon is just like so much easier to use. It's so much more performant. It is so much better economically. The cost is lower because of our vertical integration. That more and more developers will just use it by default. And really, from that point, it's just like, okay, we need to make sure it's secure. We need to get a solid, go-to-market strategy. Like right now, we're in beta. We're not really marketing it. We're just talking to VCs and talking to big like gaming studios and companies about it. But eventually there will be a point where it's like, oh, everybody's using it. And the thing is, it's not like MetaMask. Like we're not competing with MetaMask. You're not going to see a user-facing wallet for some time or a web extension. But the thing is, like if MetaMask was really smart, they would integrate Moon and give you an AI assistant. And Moon lets them do that instantly. We're talking with some big names in the wallet industry where it's like, hey, why are you worrying about developing features when you should be focusing on having the best UX, the fastest wallet, and your features can just be Moon. Like we'll do that for you. And you'll probably save money from building it yourself anyway.
Oh yeah, no, because like all of the Moon infrastructure now just exists, so like developers can just like uh plug and play with just like anything that they want. So it would they can go to market faster, and just like features that were like super difficult or even not possible to like implement. Now it's just like super easy. Even with like Easy App, he was just like or Organic Labs. He was just like, yeah, no, I sold a Bitcoin support, and I've built like an off ramp within like a few days, which is like insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It
Organica is in the audience here as well. Shout out.
oh yeah, no, shout out. He's an absolute like fucking MVP as well. Just like amazing.
Yeah, it really
So
it's like it's more than a step change improvement to DevX and infrastructure. I would say it's like almost an order of magnitude improvement.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll be using it whether you like it or not. So, I hope you enjoyed our little talk here. Sorry for spurring out. Whenever me and Elliot are on a call, we just like spurg. But,
Yeah, no,
uh,
honestly.
thanks,
We we
Carl.
we we didn't even touch on Moon Up either, which is the two lines of code.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh
We'll have a way that makes it so you can have every single feature that we offer. All of your favorite apps, all your favorite DeFi apps, whatever, can add it to their platform or to their application with a couple lines of code. So we'll eventually, like that right now is not a focus. Right now we're
hmm,
really focused on the gaming. We're really focused on the consumer apps. But once we have more personnel to work on it, so we don't have to whip munchies nonstop.
yeah, no,
Um,
Munchies Munchies gets whipped a lot.
yeah,
He's also working on like super important stuff for Moon as well, which will like
yeah.
uh solve a lot of the just like yeah yeah
Solve
actual
all the
websites.
world's problems all at once.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I hope you enjoyed our talk. I'll give it back to you, Charles, so we don't keep derailing.
no, this
So,
I'm starting to enjoy the whipping. It's funny. It's been very helpful to me. Just internalizing why it's like a B2B product. I feel like I learned a lot, even though there was a lot I didn't understand, but that's totally okay. Yeah, my mental model now is like, okay, here's a toolbox that you can just give to teams, that they can just here's a bunch of tools that you don't have to build yourself. You don't have to make your own hammer or screw or whatever. I hope that made sense. But like, here's a big toolbox that you can just use out of the gate. That's going to save you
Yeah.
a bunch of time and allow you to integrate super like advanced features and features that will make it extremely easy for users to use your shit. That's how I think about it. But yeah, no, super cool, super interesting. I was gonna ask you guys if you've heard about Coinbase's smart wallet that they're coming out with soon-ish. It seemed like well, anyways, they're releasing a smart wallet soon that is going to integrate with like Base, obviously, and a bunch of EVM chains. And users are going to be able to pay with their exchange balance. Like if they have money on Coinbase, they can just like pay pay for transactions in DeFi, which is cool. But anyways,
So, as I did mention in chat, we do have native account abstraction support. It's a bit primitive as
yeah,
well, but it will be expanded on over time. But that also just provides like all account abstraction features, and combined with other features such as like TX building or even like transaction scheduling as well, you can just like fully take advantage of like transaction bundling, because a lot of account abstraction wallets, they really don't take full advantage of bundling transactions, and it just ends up costing more gas for like singular transactions, which is fairly amusing. But also being able to pay for gas in like any or like any like supported like coin such as like USDC or like yeah any other major coin as well. So
Yeah, I guess for the Coinbase thing, one, good tech. Moon um, can basically allow any team, any company, any foundation to make exactly the same app, probably
yeah.
faster and easier than Coinbase does, and they can even integrate the Circle API if they really wanted. So, um, yeah, we're kind of like we destroy any competitive moat aside from being freaking Coinbase, of course.
Yeah,
That tech would give them.
but as I've also touched on, we do support pretty much every single chain possible, minus Cosmos as well.
Yeah.
So we actually have like account abstraction in like quotation marks as well, for like Bitcoin and just like Doge and like all yeah, no, we have pretty much like yeah native support for like every major chain except Cosmos, even XRP. Or,
damn.
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I was
uh
gonna follow it up with like, um, cut you off. I was gonna follow it up with like it's being made a big deal, obviously, because well, I mean, they have a huge reach and a lot of people are hearing about Coinbase's wallet, but it seems like they do like a very small fraction of what Moon does.
hmm,
And like hearing you guys talk about Moon, it's like, oh yeah, we can do that. Plus, like, you know,
Should
90%
use
of the
Coinbase
if
should
it is
use
the rest,
Moon. I
yeah,
think
no.
Coinbase should just
reach out to them.
integrate Moon, and then they're because Coinbase Cloud,
Everybody,
I would
start
say
tagging Brian Armstrong.
here's the Moon, here's the real secret Moon Alpha. Hopefully, everybody listening in the recording is left already. Um, Coinbase Cloud is like I would say Moon's number one competitor. It doesn't do as much as Moon. The developer experience is way worse than Moon. It is a lot more expensive than Moon, but it's Coinbase, so obviously it's coming with a brand name. But the cool thing about Moon is, as Web3 gains steam, which we know it will, um, think about AWS, think about Google, think about JP Morgan. If they want to compete in the Web3 cloud space with frickin' Coinbase. Moon is right there on a silver platter if they want to give us 10 billion trillion gazillion trillion dollars. So that's kind of it's like we are the better tech, we have the better developer experience, and really it's like we're going to be the most adopted. Like we'll probably be more adopted than Coinbase in the next. I mean, it's not Coinbase the app, but their smart wallet in the next 12 to 24 months, unless of course they just shove it into everybody's Coinbase app and count those as users.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it'll be beast. And Moon is not open source. You wish.
The SDKs are open source, but the core technologies and APIs aren't.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you, but the SDK is super nice, and I would definitely recommend if you want if you know how to build Web3 apps now, and you get familiar with Moon, like I'll tell you straight up, and feel free to tell your friends this, like you can like create a highly investable project way ahead of all of your competition, a demonstrable project in like weeks with Moon. And if
Oh,
you're
wow.
good at programming, that is. And that's really the important thing. It's like, we take you so fast, and VCs or whatever don't know what Moon is yet. Or well, some do, but not enough that like, you suddenly show up with this app that's like light years ahead. They're not going to know you used Moon. They're just going to write you a fact check. So yeah, that's this. While Moon is still small, I think you can get outsized returns adopting it. So tell your friends, anybody you know who's a developer, they should be using Moon. And if not, then it's over for them, basically.
So do we want to touch on the business model for Moon, or is it like too
That's
early?
probably out of scope, and it's like
Yeah,
really
yeah,
late. But yeah,
yeah.
Moon will be a real business, not just a freaking stupid. Never mind. I'm
Yeah,
not going to be a hater, but yeah, Moon's awesome.
yeah,
Long
no,
story short.
like just basically like traditional SaaS model, and the possibility of like revenue sharing is also very like high as well with developers as well for like swaps and other
Yeah, we should come up with a
integration.
point system for developers only. We
Oh,
need to
that'd
have
be cool.
dev points, and then we can give them. I'm not gonna. I'm about to get really autistic, but yeah. All right, cut us off, Charles. Cut us off
Okay.
now.
Yeah. All right. I'm stopping this. Okay. Yeah. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Ewhal. Thank you, Justin. That was super interesting. That was dope. I'll get the recording up. I have actually. Yeah, and I'll add your diagram to the recording also, Justin. If you wanna, I'll add
Sure,
your. I'll just add
I'll
it as
post it.
is.
I'll post my ugly diagram here.
Okay. Dope.
Enjoy it.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Sweet.
anybody trying to make a Web3 game, if they're
It's
not using
charming.
Moon, they're dumb. All right, get them on it. Enough said.
Right. Sick.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, guys, for coming. We'll see you in a couple weeks for another happy hour. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Catch ya.